What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on in. It's 1TS Daily live here at One True Sports. I'm your host, Zack Heydorn. Happy Monday from Brastring Media, and I am from Sports Illustrated. So pumped to be here. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. I am starting out the week on the road, out of the home office and into the streets of Chicago. It is not Tuesday, as Amy says in the chat here. It is not Tuesday. No, it is Monday, and we are here for another episode of 1TS Daily. And here's the thing. We got a lot to talk about. The chat's already rolling, and I love that. You guys know me. I love when you guys get the chat going. It really makes the show fun. And can't wait to jump into this show this week, and can't wait for the week in wrestling in general. It's another big one. I know I say that almost every day, but it seems like almost every day there is some kind of big thing that's going on. So it is what it is. This is 1TS Daily. We are live here with this show, and we're nearing 100 episodes. We're like in the go home stretch to 100 episodes now. We're nearing the stretch of 100 episodes. We're live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 11 Eastern right here. And what do? We just talk the news of the day, the news of the week in pro wrestling. We talk with you. We want to debate. We want to discuss, analyze, and just have a good time. My goal for this show is to give you guys a little bit of the taste of the day in wrestling, have some fun, and analyze the business the right way. That's what we do here on 1TS Daily with One True Sport. So don't miss it. Don't miss it. Hit subscribe if you are not subscribed on YouTube, and like the video. Helps us get in front of more eyes. So if you could do that, that would be much appreciated. And I certainly thank you in advance. Of course, hello to our YouTube watchers. Hello to our Twitter watchers. Thank you all for being here. We certainly appreciate it greatly. If you haven't made it over to One True Sport yet, I encourage you to do just that. We've got some really cool stuff up there, including a wonderful, wonderful merch store. And you got to check this out to like really get what it is. And it's so cool, and it's so innovative and unique. OneTrueSport.com. Check it out. There'll be some new stuff hitting soon, I believe, and so that's a little tease. That's a little tease. But check it out. The live chat is open, and we got some live chatters in there already. Amy says good morning. She already said it's not Tuesday. No, it's not. From Heart, we've got. Hope you have an amazing week. Yes, you too. Thanks so much for messaging that. That's so nice of you. Thanks for joining us live, even if it was just for a little bit. Hopefully you have a nice week as well. And then the boss has to chime in with this. Do you hate football like Seth Rollins? Yes, I do. I do hate football like Seth Rollins. Here's the deal. That was a ridiculous way to lose a football game. Now, they probably shouldn't have been in a position to win the football game. And this is the Bears. If you missed it, the Bears lost yesterday on a Hail Mary that just was ridiculous. And shame on the Bears. This is the Commanders did what they had to do. Shame on the Bears. They just that's a team that has broken my heart for years. And they hurt again. They made it sting again. So I'm used to it. I'm a little bit used to it, which is kind of sad. And I'm definitely not somebody that's going to get angry about a sports game, even though I care a lot. It still is sports. But ouch, that one hurt. That one hurt quite a bit. Hart says, hey, man, at least you're not a Giants fan. Yeah, I feel like Giants fans and Bears fans have a lot in common in terms of being massively disappointed and bad for much of for much of the time. Yes, Giants fans certainly know all about that. Andrew H. says, Jaden looked better than Caleb. Look at Caleb's reaction. He sucks. I don't know that he sucks, or at least I'm not ready to say that yet. I think he played a really good fourth quarter. Didn't matter. And, having a bad first, second, and third quarter certainly did not help them win the ball game. But we'll see. Jaden Daniels certainly looks very good, so there's that. Um, hopefully we get him again. Hopefully we get him again. Maybe in the playoffs. Maybe in the playoff we'll get to play him again, and you know we'll show him. We'll show him who the real good team is. Oh, so bad. Why'd you think we'll bring that up, boss? Come on. Come on, man. I was getting through that here today, and now I'm thinking about it again. Gosh. All right, let's talk some wrestling. No more football talk. It's too sad. It's too sad. Maybe tomorrow after the loss, after the stench of that loss goes away. This weekend we had a pretty busy wrestling calendar. You had Bound for Glory, TNA's biggest show of the year on Saturday night. You had NXT Halloween Havoc last night. You had Friday as regular SmackDown. So something significant every day. Let's start with SmackDown and the big kind of angle that happened to close that show. You have a semi reunited bloodline. Jimmy and Jey Uso hugging it out at the end after Jey comes out and gets involved in the WWE Tag Team Championship match between the New Bloodline and the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm curious as to what you guys thought of that reunion specifically. It seemed a little rushed to me. I'm not going to lie. It was still a cool moment, seeing that reunion happen and all that. And it made sense. And it just was something that, something that was always going to get a really positive reaction from the WWE audience. That just was inherent in the whole angle. But at the same time, I just thought it needed more time to marinate. I mean, you didn't really get into much drama with Jimmy or Jey. They both fought each other at WrestleMania, so much so that they speared one another off the darn stage of that show. There just wasn't a lot of drama about them coming back together. There wasn't much drama around the Jey and Roman reunion. And now maybe they're still going to go there with it because, again, this was Jimmy and Jey, not Roman. He wasn't really involved. I know that there's spoilers out there from SmackDown that was recorded on Friday night. We're going to stay away from those here on the show because that's just no fun. That's just no fun. So when you just look at it for what it was, it's Jey and Jimmy back together. That's cool. But I don't know. I don't want to say it wasn't flat. It wasn't flat. It just was a little too soon for me. I don't know that that it hit the crescendo yet of making sense because Jey and Jimmy have jumped through all the hoops to repair their relationship, and B, just had enough time to marinate. So I just don't think it had that come together moment all at the right time. But when you think back to Sammy turning on Roman, that was perfectly timed. The audience was fully ready for that, and I think that they're ready for it now, but just not as ready as you kind of want them to be. Got a comment from Andrew H here on this. Very obvious it was going to happen. Should have drawn it out past Crown Jewel. Yeah. I think that would have worked. It just a little too quick. And then Hart says here, I'm on an island here, but I think Jey is only there because he's not about to let his family down like that. But we were feeling the effects of being rushed because the PLE is the end of next month. So they had to put it back together slightly quick. I don't think Jey can let go of the yeet and the crowd reaction. Yeah, I don't think. Thank you so much, Hart. Is it Blackheart? Is that what we're going for here? I want to make sure that I get the name right, or just Hart. Either one. Let me know. I want to say the right thing. So yeah, the calendar is forcing this a bit. But this is the thing. It's okay, that this event is coming up. So either start sooner with the reunion storyline, or let it linger a bit longer and just don't the match like that they're gonna do at War Games, the Bloodline versus Bloodline match like that. At this point, it doesn't need like it doesn't need like 5 weeks of specific build. Like we know the story. The story's been told for much of this year. It's a year-long story that's going on. So I think you could have like waited another week or two to do it and still have a couple weeks left to build the match itself. So that's my 2 cents. Like I just it's going to be a good match, and I like the reunion, and I would imagine that Sami Zayn is not too far behind, maybe as early as tonight on the show on Raw. But with that said, this is a big angle, and I don't want to say they hot shotted it because they didn't hot shot it, but it just seemed to me like just just a little bit too fast. Just a little bit too fast. The Motor City Machine Guns are WWE Tag Team Champions, right? So there's that. That was such a cool moment for Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. I thought like those guys have had such a good, grinded out career. Like they've been everywhere. They've seen it all. They've made okay money. They've been champions. They've had classic matches. They've worked some of the best tag teams in the world. And it's good to see, I think it's just fun to see guys like that hit the big time with WWE. And I WWE has tried very hard to present them as, a top level act as a tag team. And we'll see. Like, I don't know that they can keep that up. They just habitually haven't. That's just not something that WWE does. They don't push tag teams as like major top draws or top stars. They could always change that. And it certainly seems like the tone around the Motor City Machine Guns changed that a little bit. But I still don't think that's going to be like a focal point of the company. But that said, this is when you can't roll out this kind of booking and strong presentation for everybody that you bring in the same way. But occasionally it does work, and I think the title win here, plus the verbiage and all the kind of background noise about Motor City Machine Guns and the type of team they are, winning the tag titles right out of the gate kind of solidifies that whole narrative. And yes, obviously Jey Uso helped, of course. Roman Reigns was involved, like, of course. But needless to say, they have the titles, and I think that's a big deal. Andrew H says here, but did you hear the pop when Roman took the center and they threw the ones? This is wrestling. You can have the AE dub hashtag tribalism. Well, tell us how you really feel, Andrew. No, yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, there's always been value in those three reuniting, and like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna get a big reaction, and I'm sure they're gonna have a match coming up at Crown Jewel. They're gonna have the match at Survivor Series. I'm sure about that, and so they're in a good spot overall. Again, there's something to be said for letting things marinate a bit and striking when the time is right. That's where I don't think that they hit on this so far. All right, that's SmackDown. We had Bound for Glory, and what can you say about Bound for Glory? I mean, look, it was a fine show. It was a TNA show. TNA'd. And sometimes TNAs. They always do. I liked a lot of the show. I liked the opener. I really did. I liked Mike Bailey, against Vikingo. I thought they had a just insane match. Like that spot, the off the top rope Canadian Destroyer onto the apron. I mean, man, that's That's some risky stuff, but really, really good. And the rest of the card I thought was fine. You know, the Jordan Grace Masha Slamovich match I thought was excellent. Really good women's match, and they got the title off Jordan Grace Slamovich now, and so you know it's really good. And the rest of it was what it was. I thought the main event tag team match was fine. You know, it just I don't know. It's kind of like the tables, ladders, and scares match that we'll talk about in a little bit. It just didn't feel like all that dangerous out there. It's just because of the painted tables and like all that jazz. Just like like I don't know. I think you could have made a match like that feel more serious, but it wasn't bad, and the audience was behind. You know, the Hardys winning, I guess. Um, but man, you can't mess like all that praise in my eyes gets sacrificed and has to be discarded when you mess up booking your main event so badly. And by main event I just mean world title match. Joe Hendry versus Nick Nemeth. Like JBL is getting involved? Really? Like that's good like that's a key like ankle JB freaking L? That's like the ultimate TNA move. And not only that, then you don't pay off the big moment with Joe Hendry. And as Andrew says here, I'm not like a Joe Hendry guy. Andrew says here in the chat, TNA like Zack Heydorn does not believe in Joe Hendry. No, they don't. They should. They should have. Like it's time. You gotta go with your hot stars in that company faster than you would in other companies because the top stars there aren't going to be there very long. We know where Joe Hendry's going. He's going to be in NXT in no time. Like, you got to go with it. And instead, they keep the title on Nick Nemeth. JBL is involved, and Joe Hendry does a job and doesn't win the title. It's like timing is everything in the wrestling business. It is. It really is. You got to do things and you got to like hit go at the right moments. And they've had two times now where they could have gone with Joe Hendry and they didn't. So it's either, well, so what? Do they really not believe in him? I don't know why they wouldn't. He's the biggest star that they've had in a long time. They had a building of 3,000 people plus for the show. All of them ready to see Joe Hendry win the title. Like, pay it off. What are we doing here? You know, it's really, really, really silly, and a silly, and it's just a silly way to book the end of that show. Let's see here. Let's see if we have any. Albzy liked Bound for Glory. Bound for Glory was magical. Jeff Hardy did his thing, and later on, explaining Jeff came from painting his body to painting the match. Now that's creativity. That's how you separate yourself from different companies. Yes, but you still want but you still want your gimmick matches to like feel dangerous. This was like some admittedly cool paintings, you know, that were that cool artwork that Jeff Hardy did, but it didn't scream to me like, oh man, these are like crazy dangerous tables, you know, or doors or whatever. It just didn't. It had like an element of like a cartoon feel to it that didn't stick. I just don't think they stuck the landing on that. But you know, yeah, I get your point. It's not. I don't mind the artwork. I just remind it in that type of scenario. But really, again, my quibble is not with that match. It's with that Joe Hendry match. That's a mistake. That's a mistake, and that's a mistake that I just feel like TNA is just known for making. You know, that just happens to them a lot. TNA is going to TNA. They did there. They had it. They had it on a silver platter, and they didn't go with it. Very bizarre. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But you know, JBL involved in a world title level storyline in 2024 is just not something that I think that you need or want at this point. Speaking of old guys that you don't want in your main event picture in 2024, Halloween Havoc was last night. I thought the show was okay. I give it like an okay grade. I just posted my match ratings for that event. um, over at the Brass Ring Media Substack newsletter. You can check that out now for free. Just search Brass Ring Media Substack, and I hope everybody does. I hope if you like our analysis here and you like to read written work on professional wrestling, I put up our written work against anybody's. I think we do a really good job of covering the wrestling business and covering it fairly and the way it should be covered. So check it out, Brass Ring Media Substack. Just go there now. Subscribe for free, totally free. Anyway, I thought it was a fine show. Not great, not terrible either. Match of the night definitely was the women's tag team match. Julia and Stephanie Vaquer against Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. This was really good. I thought all four women worked well together. I thought, Vaquer in particular. Well, Vaquer in particular looked tremendous. I mean, she is a special talent. Again, coming in, I would have said Julia has the higher ceiling. And now after seeing them work together and work separately, I think Vaquer has a bigger upside than Julia does. She's fantastic. Cora Jade had a really good night too. She, was asked to do different things than Vaquer, but she sold very well, and she really helped kind of the pace of the match because of that selling. And so, again, I think she has a ceiling because she's not the best in the ring, but look, she understood her role in this match, and that's part of being a good dance partner. So, she keeps working like that as a heel. She's going to get a lot of opportunities because you help your baby faces out when you do that. And so good on her. The main event, Trick Williams defeated Ethan Page in the Devil's Playground match. God. I hate those names. We talked about that on Friday. But then it was after the match that was bizarre. So after the match, you had Ridge Holland run down to the ring and start attacking Trick Williams. Made sense because Ridge Holland defeated Andre Chase in an ambulance match. And so it felt like even as you're watching the ambulance match play out, okay, you go with Ridge Holland here. Well, why are you doing that? What's the benefit? Why not pay off and let the babyface win? Well, because Trick needs heels. He needs heels to work with. And at that point, I'm thinking to myself, well, Holland's definitely going to be on the short list to face Trick Williams soon for the NXT Championship. And then he runs out to the ring, and you're like, okay, this makes sense. And then him and Ethan Page team up, and they start attacking Trick, and then it's Bubba Dudley, Bubba freaking Dudley, who runs down to the ring and makes the save. Now, they had teased little interactions between Bubba and Ridge Holland throughout the show a couple times. Once before the show and once after Holland's win. And I just don't get it. Bubba Dudley, come on. This is JBL level of bad. What? Who is going to tune in to NXT to see Bubba Dudley? If anything, I kind of just feel Ridge Holland beating up Bubba Dudley might just turn a babyface. It's not like Bubba Dudley is this likable guy, that fans just inherently love. That's not him. He's not on Sami Zayn level or Rob Van Dam level, in terms of that. He just isn't. He's not Sting. He's more like JBL. And so I just can't get the strategy here. Is it that you don't trust Trick to be your lead champion, your lead babyface, that you have to give it what you think is extra juice? I don't know. It just seems to me that's just not a smart guy to put in this spot. If you want to have him come back and do a little thing and whatever, beat up somebody like Lexus King or something like that, okay, fine, whatever. It's not significant. It gets a little pop and that's it. But your NXT title picture, why? What is the point? I don't see how this benefits the brand. Alsby says here he was on Mania, so I guess with NXT going to Philly against AEW, Bully is gonna help. Yeah, so that makes sense. Good call out. They're going to the ECW arena, but like yes, Bubba Ray Dudley is obviously like synonymous with ECW, but it is 2024. You know, I like remember when GCW ran like the Hammerstein Ballroom, and they brought in all those like kind of outside stars to like help with the aura of the show in terms of star power. But then everybody watching the show was like, wait a minute, like Effie's losing and all these guys are losing to these old guys. It's like that's not how what we want. And here either. Like I think you just want to see like the current crop of WWE guys or NXT talents in the in that arena. I don't think you need Bubba for that. That's the play. I mean, that is what they're going for, Albzy. So good call. You just I don't know. I don't see the value. I really don't see the value, even in that ECW environment. But yeah, so that's NXT. You had Obafemi do the job. He lost to Tony D'Angelo in the opening match, a tables, ladders, and scares match. Oh man, it was spooky, so spooky. They protected Obafemi a lot in that in that match. It took all of Tony D'Angelo's family and lots of tables to beat him. So he's still very much important to that to the company, Femi, that is. As I said, you had the women's match. You had Julia and Stephanie Vaquer beat Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. Ridge Holland beat Andre Chase in an ambulance match. Kalani Jordan ended up facing Fatal Influence in a gauntlet match, and she ended up losing the last match to Fallon Henley. So Fallon Henley is the NXT Women's North American Champion. You had a stare down with her and Zarya at the end of that match. So clearly Zarya's coming in, and I think they did the title switch so that Zarya defeats a true heel for that title. And then, of course, in the main event, you had Trick Williams beat Ethan Page. So there you go. Tonight is Monday Night Raw, so we will talk all about that tomorrow right here on the show. Will be interesting to see what kind of numbers they pull and what they trot out for their final go-home show before the Crown Jewel PLE, which is Saturday afternoon. So we're going to preview that show on Friday's episode of 1TS Daily. So we'll preview one Crown Jewel in full. So don't miss it. Don't miss it. Make plans to be here 11 Eastern. And we'll do that. Tomorrow we'll talk Raw. Tomorrow we'll talk NXT, and we'll talk all the news. So looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining. If you want more of my stuff and my work, check us out at Brass Ring Media. We got a couple of big announcements coming up. So check us out there, Brass Ring Media on YouTube. So just Brass Ring Media YouTube, hit subscribe. We're live every day on the YouTube channel. So check that out. Follow me on socials at Zack_Heydorn on Twitter. And also like this video if you can. Certainly would appreciate that. It helps the show grow big time. And so thank you in advance. We will see everybody tomorrow. Have a wonderful start to your week. Have a great Monday. And we'll talk to you all really soon. 1TS Daily right here at One True Sport. Zack Heydorn signing off. See ya.
Blue.